what you hold, little boy, best don't reach. Your shit dirt.
What the f? What is up, guys? It's Ava. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hit subscribe because we make quality content. Okay, so you did see the title of this video. You're probably interested because what the fuck? Like, who has this happen to them? You know, like, whose neighbor gets arrested by the FBI and like their neighbor got arrested happens to be a YouTuber that makes story times. So the whole thing, I get it. It comes off suspicious, you know? This is real. This is real shit. Also, another YouTuber lived in the building that this happened when it happened. So, you know, I have my witnesses. Don't come for me. I am currently sitting in my house right now. I'm about to go see Beyonce perform. But I really wanted to finish this video before I left because I want to tell you guys a story. I actually filmed this video before, but I just felt like I could look cuter in it. You know, everyone has those days, you know? So I'm actually refilming this because, you know, I look so cute. This story happened 3 years ago when I lived in Bel Air. The reason why I took so long to tell this story is because it just involves like, I don't know, I don't want to like have the FBI come for me. I don't want the FBI to like knock on my door, but there's a helicopter. Oh my God, they're coming. There's literally a helicopter. What the f? Guys, they're definitely listening to me. Hi FBI agent. It is something real that happened to me and I just think it's an interesting story. So I'm not gonna get into too much detail about the specifics of the FBI and everything that they handle because this video needs to be monetized. I have bills and a dog to support. Please don't unmonetize me, YouTube. After I tell the story about what happened, I'm going to talk about all of my conspiracies on things that I found sketchy that could be related to this whole story. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, like I don't know exactly why he was arrested by the FBI. So give this video a big thumbs up if you like when I do my story times. Hashtag best story Ava. I think that's a little bit cheesy, but let me know in the comments down below if you like that. And yeah, let's get into this video, how my neighbor was arrested by the FBI. Okay, so as you guys know, this story happened in my Bel Air apartment. I'm just going to kind of like quickly, briefly explain Bel Air to you guys. Bel Air has a reputation for being like fancy houses, like fancy cars, well known for being like safe and expensive. Bougie, like a bougie town, okay? My apartment that I lived in Bel Air was pretty much the only apartment in Bel Air. It had about 30 units in it, so it was very small, and rent was really expensive at this place. The place had only been built 4 months before I moved in, so pretty much everyone that lived there had been the first tenants to like occupy the place. And my place was safe. Like I could not have honestly felt safer in my apartment. There were cameras everywhere, cameras on every floor, cameras in the garage, cameras in the elevators. So this place was all on camera. Like everything that went down in like the public areas of this apartment was videotaped. So first of all, I don't understand why someone that would like want to do some illegal shady stuff would move to a place that like there's cameras everywhere. So I don't understand that quite, but you know, maybe they weren't smart criminals. Personally, I would be a smarter criminal than that. So on this particular night that this whole situation happened, I actually fell asleep on my couch, which is very weird for me. Like I don't know, I don't have like sleep problems. I sleep perfectly fine. I feel like I'm very lucky to have like not insomnia problems. I had somewhere to be in the morning at 8 a.m. Okay, so I set my alarm for like 7:30, 7 o'clock. I think I had like an eyelash appointment down the street. So I basically like set my alarm for, you know, an adequate time. I am woken up at 6 a.m. in the morning, guys, to a literal pounding on my front door, okay? I wake up and all I hear is dun 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 dun. Open up the door, open up the door. Like some guy is yelling at me. Dun, dun, dun. Open up the door, like open up. This guy is yelling, okay? I instantly jump off my couch. I'm freaking the fuck out. Like I watch a lot of Law and Order, guys. I watch a lot of CSI. I love crime shows. I love crime movies, murder movies, anything that has to do with that. So honestly, I wake up and it's like, I look outside and it's dark. At this time, I didn't know it was 6 in the morning because I just didn't check my phone. I'm literally woken up to a guy banging on my door, asking me to open it up. So I run over to my front door. I have like a little peephole and I look outside and I don't see anybody like particularly at my door, but all I hear is boom, 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 open up the door, open up the door. I am legit shaking. My heart is pounding. It is racing. I'm freaking out. And my first instinct at this moment is someone like Okay guys, this is gonna sound like maybe stupid to you, but just like hear where I'm coming from watching a lot of like, you know, shows like this and all that. So this guy is banging on my door and my initial instinct, cause he's like, open up the door, open up the door. I'm thinking maybe this guy is like being chased by somebody, you know, like maybe I'm involved in like, I don't know, like I'm struggling so hard to say this because I feel like I'm crazy for saying this, like for my mind to jump to this. But I know that there's people out there that like think the same way. I rehearse a lot of scenarios in my mind. And one of the scenarios that I always like rehearse in my mind is that someone is being chased or kidnapped or like involved in some sort of crime. And like it's the middle of the night and they're running door to door to like get someone to like kind of like hostage, or not hostage, but like rescue them and like call the police for them. This is a common scenario that I have in my mind. I play this out very often, more than the usual person, I think. So this guy is banging on my door. It's dark outside. I don't know what time it is yet. And I'm thinking, all right, it's my time to shine. This guy's being like kidnapped, murdered, chased, something. He is in danger and like I need to open up my door to help this guy and like call the police or something. Like I'm suddenly involved in a murder. On the other hand, I'm thinking possibly maybe there's someone like in the apartment that has started a fire and is trying to like alert everyone to kind of like grab their stuff and get out so no one gets hurt. All I know is that there's a guy banging on my front door. Like I don't know what to do at this point. So I kind of don't do anything. Like I'm listening to this guy just like banging on the door, and then all of a sudden I hear, FBI, open up the door. Bitch, what? The FBI is now at my front door. What the f? So now I'm like, am I dreaming? Is this some sort of like lucid dream? I've never had a lucid dream like in my life. I think I had one, but I like made myself wake up because I was like, this is not fun. But I was very much awake in this moment. And so in this moment, I run and I grab my phone. I check, it's like 6 a.m, go back to my front door, and I do what honestly I think anybody would do. I kind of like start looking at my peephole some more, seeing if I could see anybody. I can't see anybody, so I kind of like hide on like the corner of my door, like kind of touching the wall by my door, just kind of waiting for more stuff to happen. I look out my peephole again and I see 2 men wearing like all black, good shapen, tall white men, okay? They're wearing all black and they're wearing vests with like a little white patch on it, but pretty much like head to toe all black except for like that little white patch on the vest. And I start hearing walkie-talkies go off, like beep boop, beep boop, beep boop. One guy's like pressing his walkie-talkie, the other guy's just kind of like standing next to him. I'm freaking out. They keep like swaying side to side, like in and out of the peephole, because the peephole kind of had like a reflection that I was seeing. It wasn't like they were right in front of my peephole. And I begin to realize that it is not my door that they're banging on, but my neighbor's door. They go out of focus in the peephole, and all of a sudden I hear, FBI, open the door or we're coming in. I kind of like slide down my wall, pop a little squat by my front door. It kind of goes like silent for about like 20 seconds. I'm waiting to see what is about to happen, and all of a sudden I hear like the loudest bang of my life, and I'm pretty sure the guy kicked my neighbor's door open, banging, and my walls were shaking, and here I am just like laying by my door, just like. All of a sudden I hear a really loud bang and it just goes silent, and all I hear is like walkie-talkies beep booping around. And it was silent for pretty much 10 minutes. After that 10 minutes passed, it was kind of like there was no action happening. I couldn't see anything out of my peephole anymore. All I heard was like silence at this point. Nothing was really like happening. No action was happening anymore. So I tried to go back to sleep. I wake up again at 6:45 and I hear a ton of people. No one's being particularly loud, but like people are talking. I look at the peephole and I just see like probably 5 FBI, you know, whatever they were, lined against the wall with walkie-talkies, clipboards, just doing their thing, going in and out of the apartment, it looked like. So then in my mind, because I'm a fucking psychopath, I'm like, okay, you know, like I want to get some more information. Like I hate being this bitch, you know, like I hate when people, what is it called? Like rubberneck, when there's an accident like on the freeway or something and then people slow down, like try to watch it. I am not that person. I hate that. I think it's like so annoying. But if the FBI is at my house and it's dark outside and it's 6:45 in the morning, you betcha I'm gonna try to look out my window, you know? So I go over to my large window, which if you guys have watched my ghost story, you know that that was where the freaking demon was. I go over to my window where the demon was. I don't think the demon was there at this time. And I kind of like look out my window, and honestly, like I don't see anything going on. I saw a black van, but nobody was around it. I knew I could get a better look. Like I knew I could get a full look at the street if I just went out onto my balcony. High key, this is my next door neighbor being arrested or, you know, whatever, being ambushed, raided. It could easily confuse my patio with his patio, and I'm not trying to get like honestly die. Like, I'm not trying to die. If there's like snipers on roofs or something and they see a little shadow move on a patio, like, I am not trying to die. And I had that thought very vividly. If I even make some movement that anybody possibly sees out my window, I could be dead. So I didn't want to risk it. So I didn't look out my window too hard. I literally go back to sleep for like 20 more minutes. I wake up at 7:30-ish. I am terrified to leave my apartment at this point because I have no idea what I'm about to see. I don't know what the hell happened last night. I'm about to leave my door and I don't even know what to expect. I leave my apartment door with my bag. I'm just kind of like, open the door, immediately walk past my neighbor's door. The door is wide open, okay? So I like kind of like, I'm like, shuffle and try to like get a little quick peek at what's going on. Obviously I'm not gonna like rubberneck, I hate that. So I didn't stop and like watch the action go down. But I pass my neighbor's door, I briefly give a little, hey, what's going on? Like, I was asleep the whole night type of look into my neighbor's door, and I just see a ton of people walking around in his apartment, all wearing like the black outfits with the vests. I clearly remember that there were no police officers there, but it did look like there were a ton of people like of authority, maybe detectives or like SWAT team, FBI. I have no idea. I've never been approached by the FBI. I look inside and I just see a ton of people like shuffling around, I guess like working, looking for things. I don't know. It looked like the apartment was empty. Like, not necessarily empty, but just like, it looked like the apartment was not super furnished. I walk past my apartment and I go to the elevator to go downstairs to the parking lot to get my car. And to get to the elevator, I have to pass like my management office. I pass my management office that is usually closed Monday through Sunday. Like, I never see anybody in there. It's just like a little tiny closet looking thing. This time it was wide open and I see my landlord and manager, like the building manager, and then I see like the guy that does all like the maintenance work. They look at me and they seem so shook. Like, they clearly did not want me to see them in chaos mode. It looked like they were really stressed out. It looked like they'd been going through something, you know, which is rightfully so. They're just like, oh, hi Ava, have a good day. And I'm like, you too, If I see people looking particularly stressed, I'll probably most likely just like try to act like I have no idea what they're stressed about. I just got the vibe that they did not want to discuss this more with anybody. And I go to my car, I go to my eyelash place. Oh yeah, that is right. I did get my eyelashes done that day. As you guys know, Meredith lived in the same apartment building as me, so I start texting her and I'm like, girl, did you see what happened last night? Were you awake? Do you know what happened? Do you know what went down in the apartment? I text my mom. Okay, so I'm currently editing this video. I have my old phone from 2016 and iOS like deleted all my messages, but if I type into the Spotlight search, like in the Spotlight, I have all my messages. So the screenshots are all gonna be from Spotlight search, sorry. And the one other person that I text is the building like maintenance guy. He had a crush on me. He was actually really nice and like really sweet. He was like studying to be a doctor. Like, I'm not gonna say he he was in love with me, but he definitely took a liking to me. So I figured that I could like ask him what happened, get some information from him, just to get a little info, you know, just to get a little nuggets of info. I wasn't gonna go and ask like the building manager or the landlord because they look stressed AF, but he was chill, he was like in college, so, you know, I just sent him a little text. I said, OMG, what happened last night? I thought that there was a fire. I clearly knew what happened, but I honestly did think at first that it could have been a fire and someone trying to like warn everybody. Let's just call my maintenance manager Larry. Larry texts me back and says, not quite a fire, LOL. Now, me being the detective woman that I am, I start like dissecting things, you know, people leave clues in every text they send. So when he said not quite a fire, suddenly I'm like, well then what was it? We're not gonna get into any touchy subjects, okay? You know, like that's up to you to interpret. So basically I go on to the FBI website, which I'd never been to before. But obviously after this moment, you know, like this is a complete WTF moment in my life. My neighbor was arrested by the FBI. So of course I wake up, I text the group chat, I text obviously Meredith because she lived in the same apartment as me. I text my mom, and I just text pretty much like anyone that was texting me that day. I was like, oh, by the way, my neighbor was arrested by the FBI last night. So instantly, obviously I'm getting a ton of texts from my family, from my friends being like, oh, maybe it was this, oh, maybe it was that. So I went on the FBI website to like see what they handle, and pretty much like the majority of things that my friends and family were saying were things that the police handle. So basically, if you go to the FBI website, I'll put it right here, but like this is all the stuff that the FBI handles. Anything else is either police or I guess like CSI, you know, whatever. Okay, so the FBI's mission statement is to protect the American people and uphold the Constitution of the United States, which sounds very fancy. You can go to like the FBI website and like see all these specific things that they handle. I would recommend going to the FBI website and reading all the stuff that they deal with, because to me, I just think it's really cool. Personally, I would love to like work for the FBI one day, or like be a spy or something, which I guess like the CSI handles. I think for me, the reason why I was so interested in this and why I like stayed up at 6 in the morning and like, I don't know, just did all the things that I did was because I actually am, like, I just think this stuff is really cool and I'm very interested in it. I felt like I got to live in my own brief version of what like CSI or like FBI, like just those kind of shows. I just felt like I got to live a moment in in those shows. So my camera deleted some footage, so I'm just gonna like try to talk about what it may have deleted. Basically, I text back Larry trying to get like a little bit more information out of him, some more nuggets. Larry texts me back and just says, all you need to know is security is no longer an issue and the threat has been like dealt with or something. But basically he said something like, all you need to know is that the threat has been handled and security is no longer an issue. So all of a sudden I'm freaking out because like when you say that the threat is no longer an issue, that implies that there was a threat at one point, which scares me. So I'm gonna go party to Beyonce and you're gonna see like 2 seconds of that, and then we're gonna be back to this video to talk about what all this meant. Beyonce dance break. So I'm currently editing this video. My lens wouldn't stop clicking and I didn't know until I sat down to edit. Please just ignore that for me. Oh my God, this pimple. My wig. Oh, just get used to that. Now, I have my own conspiracies. Some of them I cannot talk about because I don't think YouTube will let me. But there are 2 observations that are literally nothing more but like just observations that I found interesting. In no way am I saying like, this is what he did. Like, I have literally no idea. One thing that I noticed about this particular neighbor was that his parking space always had like the craziest cars in the parking space. Now, I lived in Bel Air, so it's not unusual to see like really fancy sports cars. But the thing that I found interesting was that he always switched his car out every like 2 weeks. You could just tell when he got home because the entire apartment would be like, I'm talking like Lamborghinis, Bugattis, G-Wagons that are like metallic purple. He had the nicest cars ever, but every 2 weeks it would be gone. And then like he would get another nice car. And then also, so we each had 2 parking spaces. His other parking space had like an old dusty Honda, which is not a bad thing. You know, like we stand the Hondas. All I'm saying is that it just seemed weird that this guy has a Honda that clearly he has not taken to a car wash in a really, really long time next to a $500,000 car. Like it just didn't make any sense. So, you know, I like to think of all of the reasons why this could be a thing. Like I like to cover all ground. So on the logical side, I'm like, okay, maybe he works as like, he works at a really fancy like exotic car dealership and he gets to take some cars home like as a part of his job. Or I'm thinking like, okay, maybe this guy just like loves to rent different cars. On the other hand, I'm like, is this guy stealing cars? Does this guy have an illegal car stealing ring? Is this guy doing illegal money laundering like Mattress Firm? That's not confirmed, everybody. That's not confirmed. Mattress Firm, do not come for me. You know, I'm just wondering how this guy has money because honestly, he looked like he was 26 years old, not that much older than me. And he had serious coin, but then he also had that Honda. So I'm just like, I'm very confused. Now, the other thing that was interesting, and this is a whole other story time because I'm honestly like creeped out to even talk about this whole situation. About a month before this guy got arrested by the FBI, I started getting like really weird text messages and just like weird stalker things that were happening to me, and I don't really feel comfortable talking about it, so that'll probably be in like another video. I was getting really weird phone calls from all around the world and just like weird stuff was happening, like people were coming to my door. It was just weird. So I was in the elevator from the parking structure to go up to my apartment. In the parking structure, this guy just like happens to get into the elevator with me at the same time. He looks around 35 years old. I'm pretty sure he was wearing like a Pokemon shirt. So we're in the elevator and he just kind of like looks at me and he's like, "Is your name Ava?" You know, I'm the type of person where if you just look even slightly creepy, you know, I'm not trying to get kidnapped. I'm not trying to be murdered. I'm not trying to be like held hostage or anything like that. So the second a guy that's like 35 years old wearing a Pokemon shirt, mind you, I collected Pokemon cards, nothing against the Pokemon world. But when a 35-year-old man in a Pokemon shirt in an elevator that you live in and you're going up to your house says, "Is your name Ava?" my guard just automatically spikes a little bit, you know? So I'm like, "Yeah, like, my name's Ava. Hey, hi." He goes, "Oh, I watch your videos. I love your YouTube videos." You know, we can come up with reasons all day as to why this would make sense and it was perfectly normal. But again, you know, like a 35-year-old man should not be watching my videos. And I know there's some watching this video and I guess this video is for all demographics. So go ahead, do your thing, go off sis. But the majority of my videos are just not that vibe. So I'm like, "Oh, thank you." He goes, "Do you live here?" I don't know, I mean, I guess he could have been possibly asking me if I actually did live there, but the whole thing just was a domino effect of weirdness. So I'm like, "Oh yeah, I live here on the 3rd floor." He goes, and like the way that he said it, it was just so like fake. It was like he knew who I was. So then he goes, "Oh, that's so cool. I just moved here too. I live on the 3rd floor as well. My buddy lives on the 3rd floor and there's an empty apartment on the same floor. So I just decided to move in as well." Let me just like lay this on the table for you guys. My next door neighbor's friend moved in to my apartment and 2 weeks later, that guy was arrested by the FBI. And that guy is 35 years old and is a fan of my YouTube videos and just happened to know who I was and happened to be in the elevator at the same time as me. Now I know what you're thinking. "Ava, you're crazy. This is a complete coincidence. Maybe he didn't know that his friend was like doing something illegal. Like maybe it has nothing to do with you. Maybe he actually was just like a MyLifeAsEva fan because we supply content for everybody." But that was 2 weeks before my neighbor was arrested by the FBI. I text the group chat and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is so weird. This guy just like approached me in the elevator. He moved onto my floor." Meredith tells me that the same guy approached her in the parking structure 2 days before and said the same thing. He said, "Oh, are you Meredith? I watch your videos." Explain that, people, explain that. You know, like I said, we can come up with tons of reasons as to why this is all a big coincidence, but after my neighbor got arrested by the FBI, we started thinking maybe his friend was like in on it and that's what tipped the FBI off, and then like all hell broke loose once that guy moved in. Maybe when the guy moved in, they were like finalizing whatever sick plans they were thinking of. Or we also talked about how maybe the guy that we saw in the elevator wearing the Pokemon shirt was an undercover FBI agent. Yes. And maybe the guy that was my next door neighbor was befriended by the FBI agent, but secretly it was all a sham friendship because the FBI agent was just trying to get close to get in on the circle. And then once he found out what was going on, he busted him. It only took him 2 weeks and then the FBI came and took him. And then we started thinking, how are we involved in this? Because number one, we're like, okay, maybe the FBI agent that moved into the apartment to crack the case had like a daughter that watched our videos and just happened to like, it was all a big coincidence. You know, maybe this guy's just like a noble FBI agent that just like on an undercover case and cracked it. His daughters are MyLifeAsEva and Meredith fans. You know, we're covering all bases in our minds. We're not ruling anything out. Every possibility was on the table at this point. Then we start thinking like darker, all of the creepy things that were happening to me, all of the phone calls, all of the weird stalker things. Then this guy moves into the apartment and he knows Meredith and I. We start thinking like, what if these people, this is dark, maybe they found me online and were trying to like plot something to like hurt me, and like they were just living next to me to like spy on me or like do weird things, and like maybe the FBI caught them, and maybe because I was never directly harmed by it, the FBI never exactly told me that I was the one. They saved me. Like maybe the FBI saved me. I don't think the FBI has a responsibility to like tell me that they saved me from something. Also, the way that Larry, my building maintenance guy, just said that the security has been handled. Maybe I was the one that was like, my security was being compromised. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, Yes. So that is the story about how my neighbor was arrested by the FBI. It's definitely an experience I will never forget, and even still to this day, I'm just kind of like, what happened? I checked online, I looked at Bel Air FBI, like ambush, FBI arrest. Of course, nothing was online because I think people get arrested by the FBI like honestly on a daily basis. A lot of that stuff goes unnoticed or like undercover. Hopefully someday I'll have all of my questions answered and I'll get all the information that I need about the situation because, well, honestly, I hope that it's really cool because if he gets arrested by the FBI and it's something stupid, then I'm gonna be really let down. What if he was like a jewel thief? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. Be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already for more videos like this and just other videos where I'm not sitting down talking to you guys. But honestly, if you like these videos the most, let me know. Be sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you like when I do story time videos, and let me know in the comments down below if you like hashtag #BestStoryAva, you know, or come up with something else because I need like a story time hashtag. Vote within yourselves in the comments down below. My good schnitzels. Also be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And that is it for this video. I love you guys so, so much. And I will see you guys next week on my channel. Goodbye, schnitzels. Bye, guys.